Hello and welcome back. Today I'm on location here at Estel Wenrick Wetlands, and it is a nice little nature preserve. It's about 145 acres here with a mile and a tenth, just simple trail. As far as I can tell, at least so far, haven't seen any boardwalk like other kind of common like fens and bogs and different kinds of wetlands have typically. But yeah, it just has this nice little moderately hilly kind of, not too big of a hill really, but it is on a slightly higher incline compared to the rest of the wetlands here. And I'm just looking out over here on the side. There's a few kind of trails that branch off, like there's a little bench over here, and then there's also this little spur right beside me here, which I'm going to check out here in a moment. And it looks like it takes you through pretty much right into the thick of it, showing you quite literally the wetlands there, and showing you the different kinds of water and a really kind of almost kind of marshy habitat there, which is nice because it gets you closer looks at different kinds of like birds, definitely the wildlife species, any kind of blooming plants, and particularly for right now here in March, the month of March. One of the big reasons why I come to a wetland kind of habitat like this is to check out a flowering species called skunk cabbage, and it's one of the kind of first signs of spring really. It's a plant that even if there's snow covered on the ground, it warms itself up to come pretty much quite literally bloom outside of the ground, which is quite spectacular. But it's a very lowly kind of plant. It's not showy at all. It doesn't grow big, just stalking kind of bulbs or anything that grows real high. So it stays real low to the ground. It's really just kind of low key and subdued. So it's easy to miss if you're not really looking out for it or aren't aware of it in the right kind of habitat to see. But yeah, it typically grows in wetland habitats like this, and I'm going to be looking for it be on the lookout today. It's more than likely going to be here since this is a wetland. But yeah, you just got to keep a really keen eye to look for it, as it's not too big. It just kind of grows out of the ground or whatever. And the colors are typically, we'll have the greens as it's kind of blooming or whatever, but it definitely trades it for more of a maroon kind of brown tone. Yeah, I'm thinking to look for that today. I'm hearing tons of different bird species as spring's really kind of slowly getting underway here. Definitely lots of birds are starting to use their songs a lot more and employ them since it's getting closer kind of like to mating season. And I'm hearing a lot of red-winged blackbirds because they're back now in the state, which is very nice. I'm hearing their conqueree calls as well, just all over the kind of the cattail and the marshy parts of the much more wetter parts of the wetland, because over here on this side it looks like it's just primarily woodland, and then some kind of strip or some kind of farm fields, it looks like over there. But definitely over here is the actual habitat for the nature preserve here. And then other than that, I'm hearing different kinds of I think like sparrows definitely giving their calls, and they're making themselves known and coming up on the top of the sedge grasses over here. So I might have some pretty good wildlife viewing opportunities and hopefully some wildlife photography opportunities. So we will see. Alright, just like I imagined here when I came to this little trail on this little spur here, closer towards the actual wetland habitat, I did notice quite a bit of skunk cabbage, it looks like. Just different. They're all just kind of scattered about. Some of them are hiding under some really wet kind of leaf litter and dead plant matter, but some of them are much more green than others, like I said, but majority of them, the primary colors are like a very maroon and kind of a deeply red, almost brown colors. But I think what I'm going to do here is, since they're kind of obscured by all the different foliage, and there's actually some green grasses already kind of starting to grow here for like the springtime, I think what I'm going to do is try some almost kind of abstractual macro photographs here. And so that's something a little different. I've never done that before, in particular, at least with skunk cabbage here. But I think it's something I'm going to try and just see how it works, really. So I'm going to use this little extension tube. This is a nice, cheaper alternative than using a traditional, rather a dedicated macro lens, which would typically be in the kind of 100 millimeter, 125 millimeter range. And most of the time those are also prime lenses, which means you have the fixed focal length instead of like a zoom lens with a zoom factor, where you can adjust and vary the different zoom range and all that. So I'm going to use this little, it's a very affordable little extension tube here that is at about 25 millimeters, but it's basically going to simulate the macro kind of aspect, which is what I'm going for here. And the nice thing is that, at least with this Canon one that I have here, is that it's pretty much compatible with just about almost every lens, really. At least the ones in my kit here can work with this lens. But my favorite lens of choice here actually is this 75-300, just because, like I said, most macro lenses have a fixed focal length, like a prime lens. But I actually like to use this on a zoom lens in particular. Just that way I can kind of vary the focus and the zoom factor. And I feel like it opens up a lot more kind of creative choices, and that's definitely what I'm going for here, at least in the case of this photograph here. And so essentially I'm just going to be looking around, just kind of poking my head around, probably getting here a little bit in the mud here, just to get these photographs that I'm thinking of. And I'm just going to pretty much pick apart which ones look the best to me, or more importantly are in the best position, or the best kind of bloom or whatever. And just, honestly just experiment, see different angles, see what the best look is for them in a macro style here, and adjust the aperture and just see how it look like in a macro style. So this is going to be something a little different for me, like I said, since I haven't done it with skunk cabbage, but I think it's going to turn out pretty well overall, and the lighting is pretty much as good as it can get for the conditions for photographing these. I'm going to try it out here and see pretty much what happens, but I think it's going to be quite a successful photo, a little mini session here. And then as always, we'll continue on the rest of this fairly small nature preserve here. So I'm going to take the photographs now, but first I got to put this, it's like almost like a sandwich, I got to put it in between the lens and the camera body here, and then I get to work on it. Alright, so I just came out of this really dense kind of thicket. There's this kind of like off-trail side spur right next to really where the wetlands was, and right along the Mad River watershed, which is very beautiful, by the way. A very nice flowing little kind of miniature kind of creek waterfall there. And there's some Canada geese and some, I believe, mallards. At least I'm hoping, because if not, I kind of spooked them a little bit and missed out probably on a pretty good opportunity. But they looked a little different, like maybe a darker morph of them. But anyways, yeah, they flew away, unfortunately. But it's a beautiful little spot. Lots of different songbirds, red-winged blackbirds, of course. So anyways, yeah, I found this little side trail. It was actually marked by red blazes for pretty much the entire way. And it started out alright, it had some nice open areas, and it got you really up close to the water. But then it just quickly just went to all just really thick, dense brush, which, I mean, this time of year isn't so bad. I could manage it. But I could imagine in the summer to be very disorienting to be going through this trail that's basically non-existent. It felt like it just kind of ended. And but I could tell there's still some markings kind of on the footpath, like it's been at least hiked through. So I just kept on going and followed it along, hoping that I wouldn't have to turn around and do all that over again, because I was just getting smacked left and right and scratched all over. I had to like protect the glass element on the lenses, and it was just really dense. And fortunately I got out of it because it wasn't too long of a little side trail there, and I got out right over here behind me. But anyways, so I found the Mad River watershed down at the very far end of the 1.1 loop trail here. Not loop trail, but out and back. And yeah, just typical birds. I photographed some more macro style photographs of the the blooming kind of little buds on the tree branches over here. They've been all over, especially for this time of year, of course. And so now I'm thinking on my way back, as I start making my way back, at least on this mile trail, is that I'm going to switch out to my large telephoto lens and just see if I can photograph any decent songbird photos, at eye level. And yeah, we'll see if that works. Hopefully there's something, some luck, stroke of luck at least, that something will come out. I'm really hoping there is, at least. Alright, that's going to conclude my visit here to Estel Wenrick Wetlands, and so I didn't really get too much action with the birds, unfortunately. I did hear and see a lot of them, though, just common stuff like chickadees. I heard red-tailed hawk, which is pretty nice. I saw giant turkey vultures soaring overhead, and various other ones. Unfortunately, none of them really dropped down to eye level, and I've been kind of battling the sun here as it keeps peeking through the clouds on and off as the day goes on and into the afternoon here. So yeah, that's pretty much going to be it for the day. But it's a very nice day out. I got some beautiful footage, I think, and some gorgeous macro photographs of different plants and blooming buds, in particular the skunk cabbage from the earliest part of the morning here for my trip. But yeah, it's been a nice day out, and it's a nice little place that I feel like would be just great to explore all different times of year, of course, especially when the great blue heron rookery, which I didn't see today, especially when that's more established. I feel like it'd be a nice little prime feature and a main reason to really come to this place here. So it's a nice little slice of habitat of wetland that we really need to conserve, because of wetland habitats are just so important for the the rare and diverse plant and wildlife species that are still around that we need to protect. So on that note, thanks so much for watching, guys. This has been Estel Wenrick Wetlands, and until next time, make sure to get out here. Thank you.